Is this thing working? Is this thing working? Guess what, guys? We're back. I got 2 new lights. I'm trying something new with my camera, and we'll see how well this actually works. I apologize if I glance over there every once in a while. Over there is actually the camera monitor. With the new macOS and iOS update, it allows me to use my phone camera as a webcam so I can record directly to my computer instead of having to transfer. It's technical, whatever. You guys don't care. So as you've seen in the videos, a few weeks ago, I actually bought some Japanese games. The big problem with me owning Japanese games, though, is that my N64 here will not play them because I'm from the States. The reason you can't just do this and play these games is due to something called region locking. Region locking is a topic for a whole other video, but to give it real quick, one of the reasons to region lock the systems is because the games actually had to be developed differently depending on where they were going to be released. Because the way the televisions actually processed video back in those days was done differently depending on where they were in the world. However, Japan and the US both used the same format known as NTSC. The regions that didn't use the NTSC format, there actually is a chip built into the N64 that prevents the different regions' games from playing on the different regions' consoles. But the US and Japan, using the same format, they region locked the games anyway, but they did it with a physical lock instead of a software lock. And that physical lock's actually really easy to get around. So let's jump over to the desk and let's take a look at how we can get past that pesky little lock. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna take this N64 apart so I can show you the little clippy thing that's in here that you would need to take out in order to make your console able to play Japanese games. So let's take it, let's just get started in taking this bad boy apart. As is expected with video games of this era, especially Nintendo, you are going to need a game bit driver in order to take these consoles apart. But as long as you have one of those, they should come apart fairly easily. So, 6 screws later, we're ready to take it apart. It does have these little riser feet on it, so make sure you get those off, because if you flip it over with those still on, they are going to go everywhere. You're also going to want to make sure to go on and take your jumper pack out, because if you don't, you're going to have, it's going to feel like it's not going to come off, and that's actually why. So we can lift it up. And I've never opened this system before, so let's see how much of a dusty mess this is. Oh boy. Alrighty, let's clean that off real fast. So in order to make your system play Japanese games, we're not actually going to mess with this bit, we're gonna mess with this bit. And what we're gonna be replacing is this gray piece right here. Now, I don't actually have a new plate to put in place of this one, and I don't particularly want to hard mod my system. So what you're going to want to get is one of these right here. And then to get it, to replace it, it actually is just 2 screws that you take out. You take those 2 screws out and this piece lifts right off. You'll replace this with the new piece that you bought and repeat the steps to put everything back together. And much like don't forget to take it out whenever you take it apart, don't forget to put your memory card, your memory pack back in. So that way you have a fully working N64. Hey, me and editing here. Look, woo, we're editing. One little thing that I forgot to mention in the clip you're about to watch. This next step is only something you have to do if you don't want to mod your system. If you choose to mod the system, you can just ignore this next little piece because it does not matter at that point. One of the few differences you'll notice between the Japanese and the English games is actually on the backs. The way these tabs are molded into the cartridges right here. Those are what's keeping an American system from accepting a Japanese cartridge or a Japanese system from accepting an American cartridge. Other than that, the cartridges are actually identical, and so a way you can get around this is actually by taking a game that you don't really care about and swapping the back onto the Japanese cartridge. So you'll lift them off. As you can see, internally they are basically the same. So all you have to do is swap them. You just have to swap them. Then congratulations, your Japanese cartridge now has an English back and will play in your American console. So as you can see, Japanese Mario 64 with the American back. Now, if you want the simplest method of getting past those locks, there are adapters you can buy. Hypercon sells one called the Hyperconvert. You simply take your Japanese game, drop it into the Hyperconvert like so, and then you can drop that onto your N64. Using this bypasses any modding you have to do to the console and makes it to where you don't have to change out the backs on your cartridges in case you don't have a Gamebit driver. The only downside is this tends to be the most expensive route, as this particular adapter costs about 20 bucks. But still, 20 bucks is not very much to be able to have access to your Japanese library without having to do any significant modifications to the console. As you can see, Japanese Ocarina of Time with the Hypercon Hyperconvert adapter. So there we go. That's 3 very easy ways that you can get around region locking between Japan and the USA. The Japanese library of N64 games is significantly larger than the North American library, so doing something like this greatly broadens the scope of games that you're actually going to be able to play well on this console. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'm very excited to be back, and I look forward to bringing you even more videos like this from our new space here. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good one, y'all.